And it's sort of fine, I guess, we get away with it because if we're not actually in a hot war and if we have loads of technology. But you can imagine a scenario where that becomes an enormous problem. Like a mass mobilization, I don't know how we'd actually fare.
The Chinese government banned K-pop. Do you see this? Because they didn't want, what was it they called them? It was like sissy men. We don't want any more sissy men. So it was all of the Chinese male role models were like super high tea, jacked dudes. And they didn't want this BTS, like soy, like culture infecting them. That's what they saw it as.
Something I learned about that from, I had a Rana Mitter, who's a professor of Chinese history and politics at Oxford, on my podcast. I didn't know this. In China, there's a very strong association between communism and masculinity. And actually, it's the old pre-communist, like Confucian soy boys, basically, you know, the sort of like intellectual, indoorsy that's associated with pre-communist China. And so some of the reaction against feminization through K-pop or whatever is associated with anti-communist feeling.
So this sort of Gen Z pushback against romance, this is what I thought was super interesting, right? So we've got your spectrum of prudishness and licentiousness, but it's not just the short-termism of physical desires being satisfied. There's also another level to this, which is to do with romance and how central your connection to another person, a significant other, is, right? Because that kind of fits on the prudishness, licentiousness scale, but it's also not exactly the same. Like that would be something that's slightly different. Like how important is it that you find a significant other? And I think that at least a little bit of that UCLA study probably is Rachel Ziegler as the new Snow White saying, we don't need a prince to come and save her. She didn't have a prince, she had a stalker. A sleeping beauty can't consent. I wonder if it's not just a pushback against the sex side of stuff, but the nomance, right? Just against romance culture in general. HSBC got Emily Ratajkowski, the tennis player, to come and do Fairy Tales, princesses doing it for themselves, which was a rewriting of Cinderella, Rapunzel, and Snow White, where instead of waiting for a prince, the princesses went and started their own businesses on their own and invested their money wisely. Because HSBC is really where we go for like modern fucking dating culture. So yeah, I just think that this Gen Z pushback against what may on the surface appear to be about sex may actually run deeper.
The thing is that they're sort of right. The sort of a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle old line. Or the line from Gloria Steinem I always thought was really clever, which is we became the men we once wanted to marry, i.e. second wave feminists were able to do that. And I mean, I always think this about the sort of the disposability of men in modern culture, which is totally real. You know, that basic red pill position is true. There is this problem of men basically not having purpose, not feeling needed, whatever. Women not feeling as if they need husbands because like they kind of don't, you know. If they're not having children, or even if they do have children, you know, they can participate. Like it turns out that actually women being slightly more conscientious than men are, for instance, and slightly more agreeable than men are, is actually really great in a sort of laptop job economy.
Brain-based instead of brawn-based.
Yeah, like women are actually slightly better. Not at the tech, you know, you've still got overwhelmingly male CEOs and things like that, but in the kind of the median range, women are actually kind of better employees in service economies. You know, the problem that men are facing is not actually feminism as such, although feminism has kind of accelerated some of these phenomena. It's basically technology and affluence. In highly technologically sophisticated and affluent societies, men who are not in this incredibly, you know, far right tail, super successful, intelligent, whatever, just normal men have less to do.